We're back, and I've pulled another Creative Records from back here. What I've got here today is New Jack Swing, and I also have some kind of danceable mainstream hip hop stuff that was popular at the time. This stuff was played on the same radio stations, you could play it within the same set, and it was very mainstream. This was not underground stuff at all. The stuff I'm going to show you today is all stuff that everybody heard on the radio. We were playing it at mobile gigs, very popular. So, New Jack Swing. This is the style that was popular for R&B music, probably from the, I guess, about mid-80s through the mid-90s. Producers like Teddy Riley and Babyface and even Jam and Lewis kind of got in on it. It's R&B. It's got jazz elements, a lot of sampling. There's rap in it. It's pretty interesting stuff. And this is not a complete list, by the way. I don't have tons of New Jack, and I didn't even pull everything I had, but I just wanted to give you guys a sampling of what it is. And if you have some tracks that you think I've missed that people need to have a look at, let us know in the comments section. Just write them down. And you might be tempted to make a big list of songs. You could do that, but what you could also do is just pick a really good one and make one comment. That way people can like it, and those who are interested could maybe find that comment and check out that one song instead of looking at your long list of tracks that you wanted to show me. Anyway, let's get started. This first one is Belle Biv DeVoe. They had two relatively big songs. One was called Do Me, but the big one was Poison. You heard this on the radio. We played it at mobile events. Very mainstream track. Belle Biv DeVoe. Check out Poison. That's the big one to check out. Do Me, I don't know if I'd ever play that song again, but Poison I definitely play again in a mobile event. Bobby Brown. The Don't Be Cruel album is very New Jack. Even the ballad like Roni that's on here. Don't Be Cruel, My Prerogative, all of those tracks right here, they were just absolutely huge. Every little step, New Jack Swing all day long. If you don't know these tracks, have a look. And I know a lot of you just know Bobby Brown as Whitney Houston's kind of, shady husband. But yeah, he actually had a really good album for a minute, and this was it right here. This was questionable for me even. This is Calloway with I Wanna Be Rich. I read on a list somewhere that they consider this New Jack. I never did, but I guess it is. It's R&B. It's from probably the mid-90s, or not the mid-90s, but right there in the middle, probably about 90, which is where most of the stuff is. It's very late 80s, very early 90s before Nirvana is the stuff I'm showing you. But this song was hot. We used to play this one at mobile gigs a lot. People really liked it. We played it early in the night. Again, Calloway, I Want to Be Rich. If you don't know the song, have a listen to it. This was really popular for a while. This is the Boomerang soundtrack right here, starring Eddie Murphy and a very young Halle Berry. This has some great songs on it. PM Dawn's I Die Without You is on here, which is a beautiful song. There's Johnny Gill. He's really big in New Jack. There's a Grace Jones track. Let's see. Keith Washington. What else is on here? Aaron Hall. Babyface. There's all kinds of neat stuff on here. Shanice turns up on here. Very, very New Jack kind of soundtrack. So if you get a chance, even if you've seen the movie, a lot of that music in that movie is what you consider New Jack Swing. This is the only New Jack Swing song that I believe Prince did. It's Tevin Campbell, but it's really just Prince. He wrote it. You can hear him singing the backing vocals on it. Tevin Campbell's Round and Round. He's very young here. I think he's like maybe 11 or 12 years old, maybe 13, maybe 14. I don't know. He's a kid. But it turned up in the Graffiti Bridge movie, and it's on the soundtrack. But this was probably the most popular song from the movie on that soundtrack. Tevin Campbell, Round and Round. Give it a listen sometime. It's pretty good. This is from New Jack City. Color Me Bad, I Want to Sex You Up. Color Me Bad was, I think, a pretty funny act. There was somebody in that band that looked like, there were a lot of lookalikes of other artists. Like one guy looked like George Michael, one guy looked like Kenny G, one guy looked like Vanilla Ice. I thought it was funny. But they had some cool songs. They had an album. This was the big song, I Want to Sex You Up. There was another one called All for Love that was pretty good. And the one that Jay Brennan talks about, it's a ballad, he just loves it. It's called I Adore Me More. That's Color Me Bad. It was a four-piece vocal band. The guys were singers. But anyway, it's an interesting album. Oh, the other guy, I think he looked like Terrence Trent D'Arby. That's what it was. Yeah, so everybody in the band looked like somebody else. I thought it was funny. Anyway, we're going to give this one a considerable mention. The Digital Underground Humpty Dance. And the reason I'm talking about some of this danceable hip-hop rap stuff from that era is there's really nowhere else to talk about it for videos. I don't want to do a dedicated video to it. But this stuff was right at home next to New Jack Swing on the radio, at gigs, in sets. It was all kind of part of the same vibe. You could argue this is New Jack, but I think most of us would agree that it falls more into the category of hip-hop, but it gets a considerable mention in this video today. In Vogue. This is the Funky Divas album. This one was really popular. You're Never Gonna Get It's on here. What else is on here? I'm just going to have a look. I don't have my glasses on. I should. Free Your Mind. That was a big one. What else? What was the other big one? There was another big one on here. What the heck was it? I don't know. Anyway, this is a popular album. In Vogue, definitely New Jack Swing. But my favorite In Vogue song was on the album before that. It's called Hold On. This is a great, 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 great song. Hold On by In Vogue. Give it a listen. A lot of samples and loops and things. Beautiful vocals. Nice tune. This is Guy. Guy was really big New Jack Swing artist. This one's called Grooveme. This is my favorite Guy track. I really like this one. Give it a listen. Guy, Grooveme. Guy has other songs, but to me, this is the best one. I really enjoy this track. Heavy D and the Boys. They had an album called Peaceful Journey, and to me, that was a very New Jack Swing album. The big one off of there was Now That We Found Love, but there was a lot of really nice stuff on that album. There's a track on there called Is It Good to You? I love that song. What was the other one? I think it's called The Lover Got What You Need. Some really good stuff. So give it a listen. I think We Got Our Own Thing might have been on there too, which is a really good song. Maybe that was on the album before. Yeah, I think it was. Anyway, Heavy D and the Boys. Now That We Found Love. Definitely New Jack. There's rap elements in there. Hip-hop elements in there. R&B elements. MC Hammer. He's got to get a considerable mention here. You know, I think songs like Pray are pretty New Jack. Really. Maybe not You Can't Touch This, but Pray definitely is. I blame this guy for homogenizing hip-hop at the time. Just making it go so incredibly commercial that there was pushback from artists like NWA where they said, hey man, this is just way too mainstream. We got to take it back a notch and bring it back to the urban culture. And they absolutely did, and this stuff died off pretty fast. But this was huge, and it still gets played sometimes at mobile gigs. Stuff like You Can't Touch This still gets heard. Have You Seen Her's a nice song. There's some cool stuff on here. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are the ones who produced Janet Jackson. This is the Rhythm Nation. Was it 1814? Is that what it's called? Yep, Rhythm Nation 1814. The first Janet Jackson album, you could argue that there was some New Jack elements in there, but I really kind of felt like that was more of a Minneapolis sound album. This one had a lot of New Jack elements in it, with tracks like Miss You Much and Rhythm Nation. Not Black Cat, you know, but yeah, this was the album where Jam and Lewis went ahead and started doing that New Jack Swing thing. It's a pretty good album. Give it a listen if you don't know it. Even Michael Jackson's Dangerous. Nah, not Black and White and not the ballads on there, but there are a lot of tunes on here that just scream New Jack Swing. There's a song on here called In the Closet. There's one called This Time Around. What's the other one? Can't Let Her Get Away. Very New Jack. So like every non-big hit on this album was like a New Jack Swing track. Give it a listen. The Dangerous album, I would categorize a lot of this as New Jack. And we gotta talk about these guys. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. This was their first album. And Jazz definitely does the sample thing. More dance pop than anything else. See, there's Will Smith in the back, a.k.a. Fresh Prince. And there's Jazzy Jeff right there. One of the best DJs in the world to this day. Yeah, considerable mention on this one. I don't know if you call it a New Jack, but it definitely had that vibe from back then. Here's another weird one. This was that dance hip hop stuff. This is Layla K with Got to Get. A lot of people don't remember this track, but it's actually pretty good. Don't listen to it too many times in a row. You'll get bored with it fast. But if you just give it a listen here and there, it's a fun track. And I would classify this more as that dance rap stuff than New Jack for sure. Okay, don't get mad at me, but we're going to talk about R. Kelly for a minute. Okay, She's Got That Vibe is a very New Jack Swing track, and it's a good song too. I really enjoy the tune. I would just do the radio edit of it. I think it's really good. But yeah, way back a long time ago when R. Kelly first kind of got started, tracks like this were big New Jack Swing tracks. What do we have here? Johnny Kemp, Just Got Paid. This is a one-hit wonder, I think. I don't think Johnny Kemp had any other hits, but Just Got Paid was a big tune. It was fun. It was danceable, up-tempo, got live radio play. Johnny Kemp, Just Got Paid. Give it a listen if you ever get a chance. Speaking of Kemps, here's Tara Kemp with Hold You Tight. This was kind of a neat song. She had other tracks. This is the one I liked. And I got some other ones back there, but I thought if I'm just going to show you one, I'm going to show you Hold You Tight by Tara Kemp. Give it a listen. Oh, yeah, look at this. Cool Mo D, How You Like Me Now. This is one of my favorite Cool Mo D tracks. This is rap. This is New Jack. This is the whole package right here. I love this track. But there was another one that was really good off that album that was even bigger. And it was called Wild Wild West. Cool Mo D, Wild Wild West. This is a cool song. I know it sounds like a Western song, but it's definitely a hip-hop New Jack track. Give it a listen. It's a cool song. Crisscross and Jump. Yep, this is the epitome of it. Rap, R&B, samples, very hip-hop, all those things. These were kids. They wore their pants backwards. That was their big thing. But if you can see it there, the album, but that was their big thing. Their pants were on backwards. And for some reason, I don't know, that was a fashion trend for about 38 and a half seconds back in the day. So I would never claim that Madonna was a New Jack Swing artist or a hip-hop artist, but there are songs off of the Erotica album that sound kind of New Jack. The title track Erotica would be one of them. It's more of a down-tempo number for her, but it has those elements. So, yeah, even Madonna got into the game. It was just a very popular sound at the time. Here's one that is dance, hip-hop, and R&B, and everything else that was wonderful back then. And, yeah, this one's funny. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch with Good Vibrations. Listen to this song. Now, for those of you who don't know, Marky Mark is Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, the actor, that guy. He was a rapper. And he had a little act here called Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. His brother was in a band called New Kids on the Block, Donnie Wahlberg. That's his big brother. But Mark had this one hit. I don't think he had any more hits. Somebody said he had another one, but I don't remember hearing it. After that, he did Calvin Klein ads for a while. He was a model, and then he got into acting, I think with Boogie Nights. But first time we ever saw this guy was with this track, Good Vibrations. And it's a good song, so look it up and give it a listen. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibrations. Definitely worth a listen. Naughty by Nature, OPP. Yeah, you guys know this song. Yeah, you know me, right? Yeah, this was kind of New Jack, kind of hip-hop, dance, good stuff. Pebbles is the next one I want to talk about. Girlfriend, Mercedes Boy. Yeah, off of this first album. Definitely give those tracks a listen. But, you know, my favorite Pebbles song, and I think it was like the last big Pebbles song, is this one. I really like it, and it's called Giving You the Benefit. It's a beautiful song. Pebbles, Giving You the Benefit. I love this track. Do give it a listen if you're interested in this kind of music at all, if you don't know it. Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. You know, It Takes Two. I don't think I would consider that so New Jack, but Joy and Pain, I think I do. Or at least the chorus of it. Definitely influenced, but it's dance rap stuff too, so we're including it. Salt and Pepper. Now, I could have pulled so many Salt and Pepper albums, but I just went ahead and pulled the hits. Kind of the blitz of hits. Some remixes and stuff on here. Maybe Push It, but there were tracks like Expression. There were tracks that they did with EU, like The Butt. What else is on here that was really good? Shake Your Thing with EU. Some people would consider that DC Go-Go, for those of you who are in DC. Yeah, absolutely, but it was also New Jack. It was dance rap. This stuff was huge. So Salt and Pepper, you know, not just Push It. There are other songs. Check out the other ones. And the one I really like is Expression. And I really like Shake Your Thing. But, yeah, good stuff. What else is on here just for fun? Tramp's cool. Yeah, those are the ones. Those are the ones. Wouldn't worry about these other ones too much. Okay. This is almost like a... I don't know. This is a weird one. It's sang as a ballad. John Cicada. He's got a beautiful voice. And there's nothing R&B about this guy, really. He's more of a... I don't know. A crooner or something. He's got a lot of soul, I guess, but he's not really an R&B singer. But this song, Just Another Day, definitely has that New Jack vibe to it. It's a really nice song. I thought I'd mention it. Oh, yeah, this is a big one right here. Shanice with I Love Your Smile. Now, if you're going to listen to this track, find the American single of this, like the one that was released by Motown. That's what we heard on the radio. I've heard the European remixes of this that they got on the radio, like their version, and I don't like them. The stuff I heard in the UK, I don't like it at all. In fact, there was somebody in the UK, and they played me that song, and I'm like, this isn't right. I've got to cleanse the palate. And I got into my hard drive. I found the US single, and they're like, oh, wow, that is much better, because it is. Sometimes less is more. I don't know. But yeah, Shanice, I Love Your Smile. It's a beautiful song. Not the remix. Don't play the remix. Soul to Soul, Back to Life. This was kind of hip-hop, but not rappy. It's interesting stuff. Back to Life was a big tune. 1989, I believe. Maybe 90, I don't know. Keep On Moving was their other really big song. In fact, I think this was probably their biggest. I don't know, they were both pretty big, though. Either Back to Life or Keep On Moving, they're both great songs. But I can tell you that a lot of us back then bought the entire album, and we ended up with an a cappella of Back to Life, and we didn't like that too much. We felt like it was a big ripoff. We had to go out and buy the single. Here we go. SWV. This is right here. And the version of this that you want to listen to is the Human Nature remix. Right here, the Human Nature remix. It's basically Michael Jackson's Human Nature with this on top of it. It's really, really good. That's the version of this song that I would always play. SWV had a lot of nice songs. The one I really liked came out probably like 5 years later or something like that. It was called Use Your Heart off the album. I think the album was called Very Necessary. No, that was a Salt and Pepper album. I don't remember. But it's a good song. It's a slow song. It's my favorite SWV song. But yeah, in the meantime, right here, the Human Nature remix is what you want to listen to. What do we have here? Oh, Sybil, Don't Make Me Over. This is a nice song. And it actually goes really well with Shanice, I Love Your Smile. Now, Sybil had another track that was not anything New Jack Swing. It was more like a European pop song. It was called When I'm Good and Ready. And that's a really nice song, but a lot of people don't know it because I don't think it got released here. But Don't Make Me Over, yeah, this is cool. Very New Jack Swing. And what we got here? TLC, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. They had a lot of hits, but I just thought I'd show you one. They're definitely New Jack Swing. They had a slew of hits. We'll just give Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby a considerable mention here because he got played right alongside this other stuff. So just a quick mention for the dance rap stuff that we still play today. Okay, this next artist had a few hits. This is my favorite. This is Karen White. This song, The Way You Love Me, is by far my favorite Karen White song. But she had a lot of tracks. A song called Romantic that was big. A song called The Way I Feel About You was big. But this one is absolutely my favorite. Karen White, The Way You Love Me is a beautiful song. And she's pretty too. Okay, so Vanessa Williams. So way back, I think it was 1984, Vanessa Williams was the very first Black Miss America. And shortly after that, they found some nude pictures that she took. I don't know, like maybe they were a little risque and they didn't feel like they wanted anybody who had that kind of past or that kind of that kind of stuff out there floating around. They didn't feel like they wanted them to be Miss America, so they stripped her of her crown. And then, like a few years later, she comes back as a singer, and she was good. This album, The Comfort Zone, is fantastic. It's a really, really good album. It's got a lot of good songs on it. The ballad you might know is Save the Best for Last. Mobile DJs still play that. A lot of people have played that for weddings. But there's some really good tracks on here. The Comfort Zone's a really good track. But my favorite one off of this album is this one right here. Falling out here. Running Back to You. Vanessa Williams' Running Back to You is a fantastic song. And it's very New Jack Swing. Very danceable. Just a great song. Running Back to You, Vanessa Williams. And let's see. We'll do Rex and Effects with Rump Shaker. More of that dance rap stuff. Maybe you can classify it as New Jack. I don't know, but it was popular at the time, and it played right alongside the rest of this stuff pretty good. And I hate to do this one last, but I did them alphabetically. Young MC Bust a Move. Yeah, more dance rap than anything else, but I thought I'd give it a considerable mention here. And again, I don't have every New Jack track. This is not a complete list. This is just kind of a 101 for beginners. If there's a track that you think a beginner should know about that I didn't mention, please let us know what that is in the comments section. As always, I appreciate your likes and your comments and your subscriptions, and I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got requests for the next one that I pull records off the shelf for, let me know in the comments section. See you next time. Practice and enjoy.